Hi, my name is Nonima Dikela. Welcome to the Noni M podcast, guys. I want us to go through with analyzing the entire apology of Judge Rata. I got distracted while I was trying to do that, so let's do it now. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for supporting the channel. Please make sure that you are always subscribed. You are liking, you are sharing, you are commenting, because engagement is key on the social media space. Okay, please do that for me. Now, this is what was said in the apology. We're going to take it paragraph by paragraph. He says it is proper that he should address the issue. That's the first thing that he's, in fact, the first thing that he says, sorry, I suppose all of us read the newspapers. Actually, no, unless it's necessary. When we're looking for something, we don't. But we do check the news channels and online media, the things that is being said. Those are the way. That's the way. Okay, maybe we read the soft links and stuff, whatever you call it, the online presence of the newspaper. Now, and then he says he's been an acting judge and a judge for 26 years. When that was said, for me, it is him pulling rank and pulling experience. That's what he did right there. There's no apology yet there. It's him pulling rank and experience, throwing it in our face. And then I have never ever behaved the way I did on Friday. Actually, it was on a Thursday. However, he was that person before. We watched the Senzo Miwa case. We've witnessed him in so many levels than one. If we are not closer to know him to the way he perhaps could be at home, I don't know. If this is not his character, then we know somebody else. If this is not his character, then we know, because the person that we know of Judge Rata in that courtroom, we've seen things. So for us, that was as much as the reaction was uncalled for, that was no surprise to people that regularly watch, like religiously watch the Senzo Miwa case, because we know how Judge Rata behaves. So that was not new to us. And then he says, I spoke to JP and JP spoke to me together with the DJP, and the JP rightfully exploited me for my conduct. That is not befitting of a judge of my experience. What did I say? When he spoke about 26 years and 30 years, he was throwing us with experience and stature, and I should have behaved like I shouldn't have behaved the way I did. I agree. And I agree. That's what he says. So he agrees with that. Is he agreeing because he sees that he is wrong and he is getting so many people telling him that you were out of line? My conduct was questionable and incorrect. I'm so worried about analyzing my conduct was questionable and incorrect. Shukuti, his conduct is always questionable and incorrect. If you are watching the Senzo Miwa case on daily basis when it plays on TV, on your YouTube channel, then the Judge Rata that was on Thursday, we have almost seen the past almost 2 years, we've seen a lot of that. Then if that's what he is going to say, then I'm worried a lot. I'm worried a lot. And then he says, my wife also, who I thought is afraid of me. That statement was so cringe for me, because I didn't know that wives and husbands should be afraid of each other. That was so cringe for me. It said a lot of things. Told me that I should apologize to the whole of South Africa because I'm worse than the attorneys who apparently steal money of clients in the rough matter. Now he makes us, okay, in my brain, I was left wondering, how was this said to him by his wife? Was it a back and forth situation? Did they fight about this? What was happening? Did she say, listen, do you know how wives can be when they are not in agreement of what the husband does or says or whatsoever, humiliating the children or us, blah, blah, blah. Or someone came from the family side of things and said, you're your husband. Do you understand? So we don't know. Now, for me, the reason this was cringe is because now you are inviting us in a space of wondering about your personal affairs that had nothing to do with your professional affairs. Were they fighting about it? Did someone phone the wife and said, watch this and this, or was the clip sent to her? Well, what's going on? Do you understand? It was so cringe for me. She told me that I should apologize to the whole South Africa, and I am worse than the attorneys who apparently steal money of clients in the rough matter. Why would she compare him to that? Because that's the worst thing. Did Judge Rata understand the meaning of that? I don't know. Okay. She was reading the newspaper the other day about attorneys who are colorless who stole about 1.5 billion RAV funds which belong to clients. I don't know about you guys, but that is bad. And then he says he has a son who just died recently, who's an advocate. He's older than you, Mr. Mshololo. He was born in 1968. He died because of lymphatic cancer. He would have also been disappointed at my conduct. Did I hear emotional blackmail there? No accountability. This apology should have been very short. I was out of line and I'm very sorry. The words that came out of my mouth were very horrible. To all South Africans, my sincere apologies. Finish. And I thought this was the peak of it all when the sixth son who passed away was involved also in this. First, it was the wife, then the son, and I was like, Aibo. That is why I say that I heartily and unreservedly, with no qualification, apologize to my colleagues here. Now they are his colleagues. Last Thursday, he said this is not his colleague. Yeah, ne? They accused the gentleman in front of me. Now we must call them Mr. Do you remember? Now we must call them Mr. That again was rather very cringe. That was also very cringe. And I've also been accused of being a racist. When you said Uncle Tom, where did you think that was going to go? When you said black people, white people are better professionals than black, what did you think was that going to go? That was black on black hatred. So it's racist. So where did he think? And then justifying his situation now, he went on to tell us, I want to just say one or two things about me without being a lawyer. I grew up at the house of Moses Kotane, ANC activist, that one. Now he is telling us now things. Nelson Mandela, name dropping, second name dropped, used to come at home. Walter Sisulu, third name drop, even before they broke away from the ANC. ANC, fourth dropped name. My father was also as a member of the ANC, fifth. Guys, that's the apology that we received. Fifth was the father. And then, and the Communist Party. He would be mortified to hear that I am racist. My late grandmother was a German. She was born in, I wouldn't know if German people are racist. I don't know. I've never been in a situation with them, any sort of, I've never come face to face. I don't know. If you know if people from Germany are racist, then you will have a better idea. She was born in Bornholm. Apparently, she met some German priest, meaning my granny was a German. I recall that she used to cut her hair short so that people do not realize that she has a white blood. So I know everything about racism. Then why compare whites and black? Why? Why compare them? I grew up also under the tutelage of the late Bishop Tutu. Another name drop, 6 now, number 6. I was also, that was number 6, guys, if you are counting how many times this man dropped names. I was also talking to his son, Trevor, the son of Tutu. 7th name now. At the seminar, if you want to know me whether I'm racist or not, you can ask, for instance, Archbishop Thabo Mahola, number 8. That's number 8. Professor Lisaba Tifo, number 9. Professor Seth Cooper, number 10. Professor Bani, number 11. I used to be a member of SASO, number 12. Founder, 1968, but at 40, I was a secretary of. Became a member of Black People's Convention, number 11. After ANC was banned and subsequently I became a member of ZAPU, number 12. That's name dropping. And I was a secretary of Legal Affairs and Sports. I cut my teeth in politics with Cyril. Okay, wait. I became a member of Black People's Convention after the ANC was banned, and subsequently I became a member of SAP. And I was a secretary of Legal Affairs and Sport. I cut my teeth in politics with Cyril Ramaphosa, number 13, name dropping. He was my junior, actually, in politics. I was tutored by people like Thabo Mbeki, number 14. He would be shocked to hear that. But if people say I'm racist, maybe I'm not aware of that. So isn't that him justifying that he is not racist after comparing black and whites? Black people and white people, and then name dropping plus minus 15 people that are high profile people politically and otherwise in South Africa, and also in his what you call profession. So when he does that, what does that mean? He does not recognize himself as a racist. But if people are saying he is, then he apologized. That was the kind of apology that we received from Ujad Rata. So he wishes to apologize for being racist. For me, all of that sounded like, guys, I know a lot of people and I've been around. There's nothing you are going to do to me. I said what I said. But somewhere then there was a bit of an apology. Otherwise, that was not a sincere, proper apology in my view. I don't know. Also, each person can accept it the way they want. And then he says, again, it had an underhanded situation. If the gentleman sitting there, the accused, feel that I am a dump, what did he say? If they feel that I'm so useless, dump, etc., as a judge, can they please, if they think that they can't get a fair trial out of me, please tell me so I can recuse myself. That also, I think it's an opportunity that needs to be used by the accused. It is an opportunity that is worth to be used. Because what is this, son? And then a few minutes later, he went on and dealt with Mshololo right in front of us, doing exactly what he did with Mrs. Letter. So what do you call that? There was no change of action. So you can't call this an apology. No, that was not an apology. Anyway, guys, what are your thoughts when it comes to this? Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you. Enjoy your day. I'll see you on our next video. Bye-bye.